Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. I gotta sit there and say, this was a good one. This is a rarity, but this was a good one. When B&B hits, it hits good. And I gotta sit there and give them their props today. And I want to start off with, of course, my favorite scene, and this is the Ridge and Carter scene. Now, definitely watch this yourself, because I'm not going to sit there and rehash every single thing that they said. But bottom line is that they both have valuable points, right? Ridge was sitting there saying, Ridge had a couple of really good comments. One of the things was, Hope only really started to talk to you when she felt the use for you. She knows you for a long time, okay? How come she didn't sit there and step to you at any point in time? She only steps to you when you can do something for her, right? And another good point was when he said that, you keep sitting there talking about, well, you felt undervalued and, I denied a lot of your, the luxury branding and stuff like that. He's like, well, let me ask you a question. If I would have gave in to your requests, would you still have done that? Would you still have sat there and tricked me? Would you have done that? And Carter can sit there and answer him. Because let's be honest, half of that started with the fact that he felt like his idea was rejected, like he wasn't valued. Which is insane because, like Brooke said, not every idea that you're gonna sit there and say to your boss, your CEO, whatever, they're gonna take, and that's totally fine. That's just how business is. He gave him promotion after promotion after promotion. So don't sit there and try to act like you were never valued. Like, honestly, to tell you the truth, that's absolutely insane. And if you ever sit there and take this whole scene as a whole, friendship could be a very beautiful thing, because your friends, for me, is like family, okay? And it's different, it hits different, because these are people that you choose to be your family. And of course, Carter has some good points as well. Not just the whole, well, one of the things was Steffi using her position to bully Hope and basically sit there and say, well, you're either going to comply with me or you're going to get fired. You took it personal. And Bridge was like, you know what? You're right. She did do that. But another thing that he did sit there and say was, I guess he felt insulted, so he was like, yeah, I took power from a bunch of bullies that didn't bother to sit there and look at what they're assigning. Y'all supposed to be CEOs. Y'all can't even bother to sit there and look at the stuff that you're signing. What the hell are you doing? I mean, imagine if you made another mistake on that and you signed off on that. Really? But he said he took power from a man who allowed his daughter to call their employees bitches. That is a very ugly, degrading, and demeaning word. And it's one that I guess I struggle with a little bit, because there's times where I will sit there and say, and don't get me wrong, I'm out of pocket, right? Even if I'm sitting there describing a scene, and I'm like, well, this woman was acting all mean and everything like that. And I'm like, let me be honest. It's easier to sit there and say, yeah, she was being very bitchy. That's not right. I'm just sitting there saying, like, it's a very degrading word. And yeah, to sit there and allow Steffi to be sitting there calling their employees bitches is absolutely insane on so many different levels. but they both made valuable points, right? Part of me sitting there thinking while I'm watching this, and he wrapped up his hand, I was like, you should probably go to the hospital and urgent care, because, you know, that can get infected. You have, like, glass and stuff in your hand. You might want to go to the hospital at some point. Like, just, you know. But, you know, and this is where the scene really hit. You know, they talk about the first time that they met. Saying, you know, if you're going to wear tight t-shirts, you need to sit there and work out. And, you know, Carter said something along the lines of, like, you know, how much that they're taking workout tips from the guy who wants to sit there and bring back mullets. It's cheesy, but it was funny. And it was overall just like, that's how they met. You know, when Brooke was like, you know, he doesn't really talk about his family that much and spend holidays with them. He spends holidays with the Forsters because the Forsters gave him a family. For people who have friends like that you could just go to, you could just talk to, you don't have to feel like you're alone. That's a huge thing. That can get you through some very rough times. So when Brooke said that, it's like, with Hope, I'm going to get to Hope in a second. And he looked at him and he was like, I can't believe the person who I knew was supposed to be so honest would sit there and start acting like that. Because that was clearly a defense mechanism. And, you know, he's like, losing the company was one thing. Losing my friend was something entirely different. And he said that broke me. I was like, I felt that, you know. It's very rare times. But I know what it's like to sit there and have a friend who's like a brother. You know, we can get mad at each other. But if I ever disappointed him in a sense, I would feel hurt. I would feel crushed. Because that's how deep, when I'm friends with somebody, that's how deep my bond is. So when he said that, it's like, that got to me. Even Carter turned around, he was like, you know, I miss you and everything like that, and he hugged him. At first, Ridge was still angry, because he's just like, but then he realized how much he missed his brother. Hope came in there. And I just sit there and I'm like, damn, Hope. You know, I sit there, I call her the succubus all the time, but like, I mean, she was so mad. And she was trying to make it seem like I'm protecting Carter. No. You are protecting yourself. You are protecting yourself. You're protecting your interests. That's what you're doing. Like Zende said, you came into a room full of people. You couldn't even read the damn room. People weren't happy. They weren't excited. Some of them were sad because they didn't have to force the people that was there leading the company. Some people were just straight up confused. And this chick's in the let's break out the champagne. So when then they said, yo, she couldn't read the room, it's like she was trying to force that. She was we're in a happy place. Come on, bro. Don't do that. You know? Brooke said, you need to sit there and support him. I'm not going to let them take advantage of Carter and his good heart. No, boo. What you're not going to do is you're not going to sit there and try to mess it up for you. You know, me and Kyrie Clark, check out his channel, by the way. We had to talk about it. You know, at the end of the day, I may not agree with him. I respect his decision. He respects mine. You know, you go back to that point where he called Hope a nasty little bitch. I hate saying that, but that's what he called her. Hope is a very... I wouldn't go as far as to sit there and say that, because I think that's just disgusting and degrading. But she is a very self-centered person, though. And you see that in this episode. You know, Brooke is like he feels guilty. And she tries to... It's like she's trying to play the greatest effed up politician possible by always finding a spin on it. Always finding a spin on it. And it's like, you don't want to listen. You knew that he was feeling guilty. He called himself a traitor. And then what do? You march back in that room like you're going to sit there and change his mind and be like, we're not going to sit there and take this anymore. Listen, I haven't been watching the show that long. I'm pretty sure Hope has done her share. Steffi, Smith to talk about I'm going to get the company back. She's done her share. I'm not going to sit there and get into a tit for tat who did what, who did the most. But I'm just looking at Hope and I'm like, listen, there's times where I will call Steffi the queen of LA and I do think that she's pretty hot, but like, she does do things that's very vexing. So I'm not sitting there and be like, I'm Team Steffi, but Hope, you're foul on so many levels. You know, Carter has a problem with sitting there falling in love with people, giving his heart away too fast. I get that. And Hope knows that. Hope is not stupid, and she is taking I feel, and I hasten to say it, but she is taking advantage of his loneliness because she wants to get what she wants to get, and that's why she was so upset. I mean, come on, you sit there and say that you love him. He's in pain. Instead of you actually supporting him, you're mad at him because he's making the decision that you don't like, as far as giving back to the company that was originally theirs. Like Brooke said, you should be supporting him. I honestly don't sit there and think that in a lot of ways that Hope can sit there and love anybody more than herself. So sit there and say she loves you because you're loving her. And you're doing stuff for her. And the minute that you're not doing that, that's why she walked out. No good woman in a right mind will sit there and see their man in pain and walk out because they're angry. They're angry that, you know, they're not sitting there supporting him. And it wasn't like he was being malicious. You're just like, yo, I feel guilty and it's breaking him. You say you love him, but you walk out the room. What does that really sit there and say? Because if that's her definition of love, oof, no man should want that. There's pretty much a little bit more to it, but that's just the general gist of the episode. Taylor was there, talking about Brooke, because even Zenny was like, you know, even Brooke was feeling off and everything like that. But you know how Taylor is. Oh, and goofy ass Daphne was there too. At least she wasn't acting so over the top. I don't like her character. I don't hate her character. I think if they tone down the level of whatever she has going on, she might be somewhat of a decent character. But I don't know. That's pretty much about it. That's all I got. If I missed anything, you know what to do. Write in the comment section below. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be sitting there talking about all the shows. General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Boy the Beautiful, and Young and the Restless. The Gates is coming, people. The Gates is coming. And I will sit there and say this much. Support it. And I agree with Phoenix, because Phoenix was like, also I don't want it to just end on 13 minutes. Phoenix said, listen, if you support this show, it will show the networks that soap operas is important. People watch soap operas for many different reasons. You may want some of your favorite shows back on. Some of your other shows that you missed, like maybe Passions, Guiding Light, All My Children, One Life to Live. But you gotta start with this one, though. You gotta start with this one. Because if you don't start with this one, then every time you sit there and think, man, I want One Life to Live back on, or I want, I don't know, whatever show, Passions, or whatever, you want that back on, but you ain't sit there and support this, overwhelmingly support that show. Because then it'll be like, okay, you know what? We got to get on this. We got to get the ABC shows back on. We got to get the, whatever, or our new soap opera. Anyway, that's all I got. Come to the live stream tonight, and, yeah.